What's up, noobs? It's Joe Noobo, and today we're going to be previewing the upcoming battle between the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. And we, of course, have a special guest coming on to speak for the Houston Texans. We're going to bring him on right now. But first things first, we got to get some situations out of the way. There's things that people need to understand. The first thing that you need to understand is that you do not underestimate the power of the stash. Respect the stash. Do me a favor. Give that like button a smash for the power of the stash. All right? I don't know. I'm working on it. It doesn't sound that good. But anyway, so let's bring on my guy, Mr. 713. What's up, bro?
What's going on? If you can see, I'm kind of working on one. I wasn't blessed with the, with the facial hair genetics, but
You're getting there. You're getting there. So, all right. So, man, we got to talk about what's coming up here. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens going into Houston to face the Texans, who are kind of licking their wounds, man, after that opening game of the season didn't really turn out how you were hoping. So why don't we just get a general, how you feel about this game going into it? Are you feeling at all confident, or are you just kind of shattered? Are your dreams totally shattered on the ground after facing the Chiefs?
Well, after facing the Chiefs, I knew that it was going to be a tough game because they had 20-something out of 22 starters coming back. But I didn't expect this to go out and look like that. They lied to us. They said this offense was going to be better. They said that that the defense, that they have pass rushers, that they just need to put them in the right situations. This offense looked worse. It looked absolutely horrible. The defense, I think the defense had a better day. You didn't allow a play for the Kansas City Chiefs more than 20 yards, but you still got eaten up alive with that dink and dunk offense they did. But, the only thing that we're hoping and praying on is that we didn't have a training camp. We didn't have OTAs or preseason to get the offense going together. It kind of showed, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. We just got our ass beat.
Yeah. It had to be demoralizing, man, because, to be expecting all these improvements, especially on the offensive line, and just to go in there and to see that right side of the line get absolutely dominated by the Chiefs, big boys up there on that D line. It's got to hurt a lot. And, I love Deshaun Watson, man, but wow, he is going to have to be a Russell Wilson in order to just carry this team on his back, if just based off of one game, if they're going to make the playoffs. But you never know, man, that, things could turn around for sure.
If there's one thing, I'm sorry, but if there's one thing about the Houston Texans is they start off slow, but gosh dang it, they always find a way to creep back in there. They went 0-3 2 years ago. Nobody in NFL history has came back from 0-3 and to make the playoffs. The Houston Texans did last season. We started off 1-2. We looked horrible, came back and won the division. Then we got smacked in the playoffs. But if there's any team that could do it, it's with the Houston Texans.
All right, fair enough. Why don't we jump into these matchups, man? And I know we only have 1 week of data to go through, but as we continue on the season, that's when the numbers will start building up and they'll make a little more sense. But we can just talk about this Ravens offense versus this Texans defense. Why don't we start off there? Off of last week, the Ravens offense right now is ranked 13th after putting up 377 total yards, and they are tied for second in terms of putting up points as they put up 38. They are ranked 7th in passing as they put up 270 yards, and then tied for 18th in terms of rushing with 107 yards. Speaking for this Ravens offense, it was kind of a surprise to me that the running game wasn't as effective as we've seen in last season. That was really our bread and butter. That was how we were just crapping on everybody with our running game, putting up over 200 yards almost every single game. But this time we actually saw a Lamar Jackson just take over as an accurate passer. 20 for 25, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lamar, if he can continue to play that way like he did last week,
it's over.
My God, it's over. It's seriously over. And especially if we can get that running game going. Now, I know that the big story of the night, or the big story of week 1, rookie running back wise, was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But J.K. Dobbins also,
ain't no scrub.
He ain't no scrub, man. He put his piece of the pie in there. He got 2 touchdowns. So I think that J.K. Dobbins is actually going to take over the starting job a lot quicker than we originally thought. So expect to see that. But yeah, man, this offense obviously on point. There are a few things here and there. The offensive line was a little bit questionable, but I was expecting that because we had a rookie starting at right guard, Tyree Phillips. Our center was coming back from a major injury to his knee, tore his ACL, PCL, every CL you can think of, he tore it. So for him to be able to come back and still play well, and on top of that, Ronnie Stanley, all-pro left tackle, went down about the middle of the game. So DJ Fluker had to come in and play left tackle. So considering all those factors, I think the offensive line played pretty well. But yeah, aside from that, obviously, if the offense is clicking like they were, I got to say I don't like the chances for this Texans defense. So let's take a look at this Texans defense numbers here. They were 18th in total yards given up with 369. Nice. 29th in terms of points given up with 34. Not ideal, obviously. Nope. And then 9th in passing defense with only 203 yards. And then 30th, but that was the problem, that they were 30th in rushing this last week with over 160 yards given up there. So do you think that maybe the secondary kind of clamped down because you kind of did keep Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, to a relatively quiet numbers there?
Yeah, so I've been preaching this whole offseason that the secondary has gotten better. The whole narrative that ours has been trash, and we've upgraded. Roby has come back; he's healthy. Gary Conley, our number 2, didn't play, but the guys who we brought in, played much better. Lonnie Johnson was there, Justin Reed was there. This secondary for the Houston Texans is good, and it's very surprising of how good they played. Travis Kelce didn't have a good game. Tyreek Hill didn't have a good game. Who killed us was Sammy Watkins. Is that because he was going against like a third or fourth corner? But, but we were so focused on stopping the pass that the run was just killing us. And we knew, that like once you lose DJ Reader, that the run game was going to be horrible. And it just showed. And that's going to be one of our weaknesses.
Yeah, I think the Texans absolutely missed DJ Reader. It was evident. I think I even saw a few times they had J.J. Watt lining up at nose tackle for a few snaps there. So I don't know what's going on.
That's what we wanted. And like that, that's what to move everybody around. And, the first quarter, it looked like it was working. It looked like the offense was working in the first quarter. And then it just all went to hell. Now after looking at the week 1, it's going to be really tough. I mean, it could be that the Cleveland Browns are just god-awful. But then again, the whole narrative on Lamar Jackson was that he can't throw. He for sure looked like it. Yep. Dude was dropping dimes, and I was like, this boy is an absolute monster. But, this defense is going to have a hard time against Mr. Lamar Jackson. This defense, even though it was better, it's also frustrating, from a Houston standpoint. Whitney Merciless is just god-awful. And he's our edge rusher. He's the guy that's supposed to contain the edge. We paid him $54 million last season. And, Jacob Martin, the guy that we got in the trade for Clowney, he only played 12 snaps, but on those 12 snaps, 4 QB pressures, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. He's not going to get the reps because of the amount of money you pay Whitney. And if that's the case, then this defense is going to be in trouble. I do like our secondary. It's much better than the Cleveland Browns, much more improved than last season. So it's going to come down to Mr. Lamar Jackson being great, which, he might well be. All
right, let's move on to the other side of the ball, and we'll start off with this Texans offense. Taking a look at some of their numbers here. They were also 18th with putting up over 360 yards. They tied for 11th in terms of points scored with 20. 15th in passing with 242 yards, and 17th in rushing with 118 yards put up. So would you say, these numbers to me look like it's an average offense. Would you say that's accurate, or would you say that you're going to start to see a little bit more improvement as the season goes on, or maybe this is just what they are?
Well, you would hope that they improve on, and And if you look at the guys we brought in, they were not even involved. Brandon Cooks only had about 2 or 3 catches. Randall Cobb had 1 catch. Kenny Stills dropped a bunch of balls. This offense is nowhere near where it should be yet. That does also fall on offensive coordinator Tim Kelly. The 2 bright spots were Wolf Fuller, who had over 100 yards, and David Johnson, who looked absolutely like he was on a revenge tour.
He did. He looked good.
He looked really good, and then Tim Kelly he got scared, and when the Houston Texans are down 17, you know what he does? He runs the ball 7 straight times, and that's not how you come back. So, you expect him to get better. I would not believe myself if I said that Bill O'Brien offense looked better than Tim Kelly's, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I think David Johnson was like averaging 7 yards per carry or something insane.
He just couldn't stop him.
Yeah,
and we went to a dink and dunk offense, and that's how we scored. And then it just once we started falling behind, the whole play calling was just skewed, and he just looked like he was just lost in the sauce.
Yeah. What it seemed like to me was that as soon as the Chiefs went up by 10, because I think it was 17-7 early on in the game, correct? And then Bill O'Brien just started freaking out. This is how I pictured it. He's like, oh my God, we're down 10. We have to do something. And instead of just, the running game is working, why not just keep pounding the ball with David Johnson if they can't stop it? And that's how you have to beat teams like the Chiefs, because I always say it that you have to play your game, do what you do best, and don't let them take you out of it early on. Go with what's working, and just don't be scared. Don't play scared against these tough teams. You know what I mean?
I totally agree, but when you run the ball, you are trying to set up a play action. You are trying to set up a big play. We were expecting that. After you ran the ball for the 7th damn time, we thought, hey, we're gonna go play action and try to take them deep. Did not happen. Like you said, the Houston Texans had 2 really good deep threats in Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller, and they didn't throw deep at all. And it was kind of frustrating, and that's when we knew something was wrong.
Let's move on to this Ravens defense, who had a pretty good outing as well. 9th in terms of yards, 306 yards, and 1st in terms of points given up, only 6 there. And 4th in terms of passing defense, 168 yards given up, and tied for 22nd in rushing, which might be a little bit of a surprise to you, 138 yards. But let me tell you what's going on there. So a lot of their rushing yards came from, I think, about 2 big runs from both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So we can't allow that to happen, because we saw that David Johnson still has some sauce in the tank, some juice in the tank. He's still got some, right? So something that we struggled with mightily last year, and I say it all the time on my channel, was containing the outside runs. That's really where you can hit us. You
and that's
cannot
what
run
David
up the
Johnson
middle.
is good at. And that's when that's his bread and butter. So, we've talked about this whole, not this whole week, but since Thursday, that you could run on the outside on these Baltimore Ravens. The question is that will you do more? And that's all we're looking for and for the Houston Texans. Like, I don't see us winning this game. I'm gonna just say that right now. Yeah. But I need to see more. I need to see, the vision that you have. These Baltimore Ravens are stout, man. All phases of the offense. So question, I'm sorry to ask you a question, but do you miss Earl Thomas?
So after the first game, I would say no, but obviously, there's still 15 more games to be played, so we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, no, his replacement, Deshaun Elliott, actually stepped up pretty damn well. He laid some hard hits there, and there wasn't really any lapses in the deep passing game. So I'm feeling pretty confident so far, but again, we'll see. I'm still being a little cautiously optimistic is how I like to feel about this secondary for sure without ET.
I feel like there's a way, to beat Baltimore. It's just, can we be consistent? That's the only thing for these Houston Texans. Because theoretically, we should be putting up, going shot for shot with the Chiefs, going shot for shot with the Ravens, and it just hasn't been like that since Watson's season when he was a rookie. Yeah.
So last year we played each other. I'm sure you would like to forget that game, but we pretty much, we did you like we did the Browns last week. Let's be honest here. So what do you think you can say that the result won't end up being the same? Like, it'll actually be, a tough contested game and the Texans will show something. What changes do you think you've made since that game?
The changes, is that Tim Kelly's going to actually come with the offensive game plan and actually try to show us that he is capable of being the offensive coordinator, because he didn't show that, on Thursday night. He is being ridiculed here in Houston bad to the point where we're like, hey, we might as well have Bill O'Brien just come back and call plays. I'm right? Right?
Yeah, that's bad.
So you don't want to be an offensive coordinator forever. Now is the time to show the show the NFL what you could do. And, that's just what we're praying on. I mean, I'm going to say again, we are hoping that Tim Kelly could come out and actually have a game plan against the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, fair enough. So, Mr. 713, why don't you go ahead and give me a score prediction for this game, and we can go ahead and get out of here.
Let's say 24-34.
Okay. Ravens.
Ravens lose by 10.
Okay, fair enough. That's not a bad score, actually. I was thinking about the same. Yeah. I think I in my mind I had 31 to about 22, 21, 22, 23 around that area. So that's, we're about the same. So, almost at least a 1-score game could be a 2-score game. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. I like the Texans this year, man. I hope that they can figure it out because, they've been under Bill O'Brien's thumb there for the longest time, and I do feel bad about that.
I mean, we feel bad too. Like I've said before, when since Bill O'Brien's been the head coach, I was in high school, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Something funny. The Rockets head coach just got fired. Mike D'Antoni, and Bill O'Brien said, well, it's sad that he got fired, but if you're not winning championships, it is what it is. And I was just thinking, well, what the hell have you done in 7 years?
Yeah, true. Of course, Bill O'Brien would say something like that. But anyway, all right, fellas, that's going to do it for this preview. Mr. 713, thank you so much for joining as well. Why don't you let the people know where they can find your stuff?
Well, guys, if you want to check me out, like I said, I talk Houston. I try to post daily. It's at 713 Houston Sports. I try to be non-biased. I try to crack some jokes. I try to do some skits that I sent to Mr. Noobo. But if you want to check out some Houston stuff, just hit me up on Twitter, Mr. 713, and then we'll have some fun. But go Houston, H-Town till I drown. Little stash coming, but it's coming.
It's coming. It's getting there. So we are also, guys, a part of the Fan to Fan network. So please make sure you guys check that out. Links are in the description. That's where you can find both of our work, in case you were wondering. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you later.